Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 18th of July. All right, now let's just have a look at the majors. Now, we've had the main thing from yesterday was the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, came out, said they're on track to be raising rates, he sees no issues with any trade issues with China, all these sorts of things impacting growth and economic development in the US. Now, that really signals a strong dollar situation. Now, on the majors, we've seen the Aussie slide lower. I think this has got potential to really fall down. Okay, this is the biggest central bank in the world telling you they're on track to be raising rates and economic growth is going to continue regardless of the potential trade issues that Trump's drumming up. So I think what we'll see is a lot of these major currency pairs drop down. Now, the two nicest ones I see is Aussie around sort of, well, it's been down into the low 70s already. I've just got myself short. It is back towards that 80 level, but Aussie there, and also Euro down through 116.30. Now, Sterling, I've left Sterling alone for the moment. We have UK CPI data out later today, and that Brexit is also putting a bit of pressure on the downside. I like it lower, but I want to see what those UK CPI figures are first. Dollar CAD, well, if anything, it's the currency pair itself is actually following what oil is doing. We haven't really seen that kick in with CAD yen yet. Dollar yen is just sort of cruising to the top side. It wants to get up towards 113.50 for sure. No one's really touching it at this stage, but with all those US-China trade situations brewing the last few weeks, that has now completely settled down. So that does open up a move to the top side in dollar yen. Now, if I just come back towards the, I want to give you a look at the US dollar. Okay, a couple of the raw nerves in the market at the moment. The dollar index, okay, was sort of cruising sort of just down a bit. Let me make that pen a little bit wider. Okay, it was, as I said, just moving to the downside. Now, once again, Jerome Powell has put a real positive tone under the dollar. I would expect it to break through 95.20, the dollar index. Also, just keep an eye on where this trade dispute, one of the raw nerves is the offshore yuan, which is quite as dollar China. At the moment, it has been weakening. It's not sort of being as dramatic as it has been recently. So just keep an eye on some of these trend lines. If we do see it weaken further, the dollar weaken and China rally, well, then that'll force the Aussie and Kiwi up. But at this stage, it does look like it's going to be moving to the top side. And I think there's a bit of a triple or quadruple top, whatever you want to call it. If it does go through 673, sort of 25, then I think we might see it higher, and that'll push the Aussie and Kiwi down for sure. All right, so then as I was just mentioning, there's a couple of key things to focus on. Now, if we just come back to the MyFX Trading Hub, just come back down to have a look at the next bunch of major events. And this is where your focus should change, right? We've seen the technical side of things. We know Jerome Powell has given the US dollar a positive tone. So Aussie, Kiwi, Euro, Sterling all heading to the downside. Dollar CAD, dollar yen to the top side. So now you piece together. Okay, we've got UK CPI figures coming out. Now, this is a real good opportunity because we know from what's been going out there on Brexit, it is creating a negative sort of tone on sterling. If we get weaker CPI numbers out of the UK, well, then this is going to be a really cracking opportunity, right? So just keep an eye on that. We've got the second day of Fed Powell's testimony to Congress. And then for dollar CAD fans, we've got the US crude oils. And then at the very end of the North American session, I'm just going to be running a live webinar on how best to trade through the funded trader program. But trading conditions, they're actually pretty good. There's a few geopolitical issues rumbling. You know, there's that China-US issue still there just at the moment. But there's also Brexit. So just be aware of when you're belting, when you're thinking of hitting sterling, just make sure you are abreast of what's going on there. Now, we still are having an issue with the plugin here with the daily analysis snapshot. So disregard that section just for the moment. Hopefully, we'll have a solution very shortly. Coming down to the next best trade watch list. Now, it's been a little bit thin on the ground with these trading opportunities with all these geopolitical issues. But I've updated the CAD yen. I've just got a break on the downside through the bottom of the cloud there. Euro, I'm looking for a breakdown through sort of 116.30 support. And as I mentioned, I'm currently short Aussie, just in the high 70s there, looking for it to break down towards 73.10 and then head towards 74.5. We may have to wait for tomorrow's Australian employment numbers, but to me, the writing's on the wall. The Fed's chairman, Powell, I should say, has really set the tone, and this is where the news services will be focusing their attention. And it's usually after 12 hours or the next day when the market really starts to move. So I would think that that is going to be the key fundamental driver. Now, watch out for this lunatic over here, Trump. I mean, he is creating all sorts of problems for himself as well as most other countries with regards to these trade deals. You can read more about that. And then you've got, then they're just focusing on, the negative sentiment in sterling and also the falling dollar CAD. Now, the falling dollar CAD is partly because of Powell's positive tone and also the fact that oil is falling. So the CAD is actually falling itself. Now, if I just come back, I want to just show you, there's a couple of really good setups here on, let me just clear that screen, on the yen crosses. They are starting to look pretty attractive. Now, if I just move some of these webinar gadgets. Now, have a look here. I've still got a good opportunity here. I can, and with, in my eyes, I mean, I've been sort of trading for a while now. This move in CAD yen, I mean, I'm still looking at this, and I've got an order here on the break of CAD yen. It's more for CAD yen to catch up with what's happening in oil. So you see up here, oil was around 75 bucks. It's now sort of down $7.5, $8. At some stage, this thing will drop, okay, like a lead balloon to catch up with that oil price. At this stage, we still have dollar yen moving to the top side, but if we do get a random event, then we may see that CAD yen come into play. As you can see here on the other side of things, sterling yen has already sort of broken down. There are potential opportunities coming up for euro yen, potentially Aussie yen as well. Kiwi yen's got a bit more work to do as well, but it's all around dollar yen. Now, if dollar yen does something weird happens, then we may see dollar yen sort of just, as you do randomly see all the time, dollar yen crash 200 or 300 points. That'll be the catalyst for CAD yen, but we have the formation starting to build for the yen crosses. So make sure you keep an eye on that through the Asian day. And as you go over the course of the next few days, those yen crosses will become very active. At the moment, they are sort of just trending higher with the move in dollar yen, but I would suspect they will really come into play as we go in later in the week. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. As I said, I think Aussie. I think there's a real good chance for some of these majors to keep drifting lower. Now, it doesn't seem to be happening straight away, but what the sentiment is already out there in the market is what I was trying to say. Now, so I would expect these things to drift lower. It won't happen straight away because there's no sort of key data releases today, but I am expecting these things to dribble off as we go through the session. Otherwise, we're back in jamming in the range, waiting for the key releases. All right, and that's pretty much it for me. Have any questions, jump in the trade zone. As I mentioned, the traders who are in the funded trader program, or those traders who are thinking about getting involved, and don't forget to jump on board here. This will be a good webinar. I'm going to give you a bit of a detailed run through of the rules and how best to get through that funded trader program. There's a few little tips that you might be interested in. I think it'd be very helpful. All right, guys, that's the FX Market Insight for today, the 18th. Don't forget that's UK CPI data. We've got just over 7 hours to wait for that. The markets may simmer in the meantime. All right, have a good trading day, and we'll catch you later on.